why? Why would this happen? So I convinced a friend of mine who was a social worker. She could get CEU credits. And so she went with me. She drove me there. And the whole time I was fascinated by the whole thing. The science behind laughter and how it changes your brain and how your body acclimates and how it levels the playing field for people who, they feel that they're a bully or whatever the hierarchy is. Everyone is on the same level. But I kept thinking, how would I market it? Because that was like background. I always like to think about how I could promote, because you give me an item and if I love it, I'll shout it from the rooftops. And this was something like that. So I let it percolate. Then about 6 months later, I looked into laughter yoga and I went to Chicago. My husband came with me and we did laughter yoga. So it was an extension of the science behind laughter. And there again, I kept thinking, how will I market it? How will I market it? Didn't do anything with it. Then I joined an organization called AATH, which is the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. And the gentleman who trained me as a laughter leader, this man, Steve Wilson from the World Laughter Tour, was being honored. And I went to my husband and I said, there's this program in Las Vegas. Just go. He was tired of seeing me sort of blue. So I went, didn't know anybody except for this one man. And my life changed in Las Vegas. And I'm not a fan of Las Vegas, but it changed. And I met the most remarkable group of individuals from all over the world who took me under their wing. And you have to understand, this is almost 10 years ago when I went, and I was really like blue. I was still going through I'd lost 15 pounds. I had no appetite. I felt like I was a ghost. I felt like I was walking through marshmallows. When you're just depressed and you just, I couldn't smile. I'd watch situation comedies and I looked like I had a stroke. It was scary. And my son said to me, Mom, you're always so sad. The other mothers aren't sad. And I said, they are, but you don't see it. And they may have not been, but I certainly didn't want him to worry about me. So AATH was a cornerstone for me. And now, as it's almost 10 years, I'm now a speaker and now I'm a motivator and I've written a book and I've started my own nonprofit and I'm learning. I've taken baby steps to get to where I am. And every day is a new beginning. And every day, if I see the sun, I feel happy. If I don't see the sun, but my feet touch the ground and I can get myself to the bathroom unassisted, I know it's an eureka moment. Because I go into hospitals and I see what is there, and many people aren't of their own abilities. They need someone to help them, or they're connected to an IV pole, and it's an eye opener.
So you were able to pull yourself through the blue period that you're calling it, and you were able to find gratitude for the small things. It sounds like, and just make it become more of a practice for yourself. And then from there, help others. And I would assume that seeing people obviously in hospitals and who desperately, and I also know you work with cancer, is it children or adults?
I will, the program was initially for children with cancer, but it could be anybody. Any population can benefit from what I offer.
So then from all of those different people that you meet, it sounds like you were able to get yourself out of that, period that you're in. It's so interesting. You're talking about this, and it's similar to the point. I was writing my newsletter today, and I was talking about how, I've been going and doing, and obviously I've created this podcast, but there's been this like darkness for me over the winter. And I think it's part of just the weather, and I finally feel like I'm coming out. And I was sharing in my newsletter that we teach you what we need to learn. And so I'm starting a 21-day challenge / new you program, and starting May 1st, just to really work on reconnecting to our spirit and our connection and have accountability. And so it's interesting you said that, because a lot of times as a spiritual teacher, people think every day is beautiful and the sun is shining, which it is. And I'm always looking for gratitude. But there are times where you go through periods where it's challenging, or you don't really know why. I'm so thankful I have the tools so I don't stay in those down cycles or too long. But sometimes we need to pick ourselves up or find ways to do it. So it sounds like this was a way for you to get out of that, and then continually working on helping others helps you stay in a nice rhythm.
Definitely. No, it's, I have a good friend of mine who had gone through breast cancer. She's a 25-year breast cancer survivor. And, most people who get a sentence or being told that, she was told at one point after multitudes of operations and chemo treatments that, some people would think, why me? And instead she kept thinking, I have a tumor, and she found her humor. And I speak to people saying, I'm grateful that I found that I had depression so that I could find my happiness and to help others, succeed as well. I mean, I wherever I go, I have a friend who she collects smiles, and it's like a game, her own little game. She'll smile at somebody, and if she gets a smile in return, it's like points. And, it's not like she's going to win anything at the end of the day, depending on how many smiles she gets, but it's her own personal journey or her own personal goal setting. And that's what we need to do is just promote what we can, promote a smile, promote maybe opening a door for somebody, giving somebody a compliment. It doesn't have to be big, like, oh my God, I can't believe you did this. But it could be, I like your shoelaces, or what a pretty garden you have. And what I find when you're offering somebody a compliment, as long as it's sincere, is that you're going to see the recipient smile. And they don't have to say something in return, like, oh, thank you, I like your shoelaces too. That's not necessary, because when you see them smile, that's your thanks. That's your gratitude, because you've done something good for somebody else.
It's so true. Gratitude really brings us back to that place that we can connect to ourself and our spirit and know that all is well. I start every day with certain journaling prompts, and one of them is gratitude. And everybody talks about it, but it is true. Everyone talks about it, but if you don't do it, you won't know it. So to do it on a regular basis. So in spirituality and intuition, and we'll kind of move a little bit into the business part, do you have particular spiritual rituals or habits that you have in place for yourself? And then we'll kind of move into intuition and business.
Someone told me about an app called Insight Timer.
Oh, I have that one. Yeah.
And so in the mornings and even at night, I don't get on my knees and pray but I do, before I go to sleep, when I lay down, I think about the people I care about. And I just, I wish all of them a good night, safety wherever they are. And then I'll listen to one of the meditations that will be on that app. And most of the time I'm not even hearing it. It zones me into, it's almost like a lullaby. And it could be even something that could be like laughter, but somehow if I'm tired, it zones me right out. And then in the morning, I make an attempt to do that as well. And I'll try to make sure I have enough time to do some sort of meditation, because I just need to hear a voice. And it's not listening to the radio. I just like something soothing, and I love listening to the birds. I'm grateful I still have my hearing. As far as intuition, it's, I don't know why, but I look at angels. When I'm driving, I remember listening to Louise Hay several years ago, and I would listen to one of her CDs, and I'm thinking, boy, this woman is so amazing. She is brilliant. She is so brilliant, the way she describes things and, what you need to be grateful for. And basically, you don't want to tell people you've been on this new journey until they see how you've come along, and then they're going to ask you questions, and then you can speak about it. It's sort of like it's a hidden secret. But I found that, her teachings is just unbelievable. And so, I would follow some of the people that are under her umbrella, under her Hay House umbrella. That was where the beginning, I think, of intuition started to come, and I would take it more seriously. and realize that I am intuitive and I am an empath, and just the different people I've met on my day-to-day journey.
And so what would be your definition of intuition?
I think it's being open-minded and keeping that curiosity, keeping your eyes open with wonderment, and just being willing to experience whatever comes your way and continue to promote positivity.
I love that. I love hearing everyone has a little different, but it's all similar. And I love that part of the intuition. So I want to kind of segue over to your business and the headbands. And we talked a little bit about the laughter before we kind of move over to talking about the headbands. I want to talk about, do you actually teach laughter in yoga classes? I guess I'm confused. I know you see people in hospitals and people that aren't well. Is there a particular, I know it's not the same yoga, but is it a particular class or is it just?
Well, I just became certified to be a laughter yoga teacher. So I had been a laughter yoga leader for a number of years, and you have to do it, it's like anything, you learn to do something and they want to make sure that you have the knowledge and the ability. And then once you are ready, you can become a teacher. So I took a week-long training. I had a gentleman come in from Massachusetts who is he's a Tai Chi master and he's a laughter yoga master. He trained with Dr. Kataria, who had started the laughter yoga movement in Mumbai. And so laughter yoga is, as what yoga is, it's the mind, body, and spirit. It's a union. And the way that program started was a gentleman, this Dr. Kataria is a physician, and he was in Mumbai, and he was doing a newsletter on laughter is the best medicine. And he gathered his wife and a few colleagues and went to a park 5 minutes from his office, and they started telling jokes. And by the end of 2 weeks, 50 people had arrived, and they ran out of clean jokes. And all the women said this was fun, but no, we're not interested. And he said, no, let me come back tomorrow, please. I have an idea. And so his model was that he felt that the body cannot tell the difference between real and fake laughter. When you laugh, your body is engaged. Your shoulders move up and down, and you just feel better from the outcome. And so he found childlike exercises to be the criteria to start. So it wasn't joke telling, because, if you tell somebody a joke and you don't get the punchline, they feel bad. So it's not based on an outside form of laughter. It can come from within. So, you can pretend that you're a lion. You can pretend that you're tying your shoe and the shoelace breaks. You can pretend you're walking your dog and the dog is walking you. And it can be anything. You're driving in traffic and you just start smiling and laughing. It could be any everyday occurrence, but you just learn to laugh at it. And then you're making eye contact and you're smiling and you're swaying, and it becomes an all-round exercise. But it's not yoga in the sense of getting a mat and wearing yoga clothes. I mean, you can go in your street clothes, you can be in your business clothes, it doesn't matter. But you're with others, or you can do it one-on-one. People do it by themselves, but it certainly is more fun. The more the merrier. And he's created this movement, which is unbelievable. And so there are 105 countries worldwide that have laughter yoga leaders doing laughter yoga. And I call us gremlins. And we make the world a better place.
I remember I did yoga kids teacher training. So I did that in 2004. And in one of the sections of yoga kids teacher training, we had laughter yoga. It was just a small section. It wasn't any certification or anything. And we would literally get on our backs and we would start pedaling our feet, and we would just start laugh for the sake of laughing. And then everybody else would start laughing and everyone would start laughing. And eventually you're like full belly on laugh, tears are coming down my face, and you're making yourself laugh. Like you're just making yourself laugh because there is really no reason to laugh. And then you're just laughing, and it felt so great. And I remember I was in Michigan completing the training with like 18 other women all around the country. And here we are like on our backs pedaling like little kids and cracking up. So it's a good, and it also, why I'm sure there's so much we could talk about with the endorphins and the mood boost and all that.